Hi, this video will show how we can use the ArcGIS Instant Apps to display our maps. So here we have a very simple map showing the United States and the American Evaluation Association members. If we click on any member, we will get their membership information, what type of membership they have, their demographic information, and their geography. So it's just a little bit to learn about who comprises the membership in the pop-ups. So now that we have created our map, we symbolized it the way that we want, we created our pop-ups the way that we want, now we want to be able to share this with our colleagues. And we don't want to share just a map because this isn't really the best interface for sharing maps because it doesn't have like a nice shell around it. So we're going to sass this up a bit. And that's really what the instant apps do. They are a means of presenting your maps in a professional manner. So to go to the instant apps, we can get there in a number of different ways. But when you're in Map Viewer, the way that you get to the instant apps is to come down here to Create App, then select Instant Apps. Once the screen comes up, you're going to see that you have a whole bunch of instant apps to select from. And one of the cool things that you can do is answer these questions over here about the goal for your app. And then there'll be a few other questions asked, and that helps the software help you select which app is the most appropriate for the data. So with our map, we want to showcase one or more maps and essential tools. We want viewers to interact with data, and that's probably about the two that we would want. So I'm going to select that one, and notice how it narrows down which ones I should be selecting. What do you want to display in the app? We just have one map. So some of these are good for one map, some of these are good for multiple maps. So we select one, and now it's telling us which ones are the most appropriate. This one is telling us that it requires an imagery layer, and we don't have imagery, so it's easy to rule that one out. But the one that we're going to use is the most common one, is the basic app. And if you want to see what it's going to look like, you can just click on that, and it gives you a preview of what the app looks like with your data in it. So you can see it's really pretty basic there. And that's all I want, is something that just does the job, because simplicity sometimes is the best way to go for your map audience, so that there's not a whole bunch of things there that could potentially confuse, distract, and so forth. So I'm going to create my app. And notice that it's getting saved in my folder in my content area, and I'm going to click Create App. It's then going to take me through configuration settings for the app. And we can go through the configuration settings in one of two ways. We have the Express settings, which will always open in Express. Those are the most important settings. Or if you want to turn off Express mode, and let me get rid of that little guy there, we can turn it off. And I'm just going to hit Continue. And now it's giving us all the things that we have to go through. So again, you can turn that on to get the main settings that you have to go through. It takes you through right here. But if you want to go through them step by step, one by one, you can go here. It doesn't really matter. I always tend to use the Express settings unless I'm doing something really, really detailed. So the first step is to select the map, and boom, we did that already. So we're really well on our way. And then this is where we give the details for the map. And notice that I'm kind of a little bit delinquent here in terms of giving item details for it. So I would open up my item details and do my due diligence to leave good metadata for this. And I would just, write a summary and a description, which I'm going to skip for the sake of this demonstration, but you would just fill this in, what the data is in the attribute table, and so forth. So once we have our map selected, we can just click Next. And then it's going to ask you a couple of questions here. We always have a legend because that's what explains what people are looking at on the map. And then I always like to have a header, which is the title. And then you can change the title. And I'm going to put in 2025. Doo, doo, doo. And there we have our title. And then you can put a text alternative for the map there. And then you can show a shortcuts menu, which I don't normally use because a lot of people don't use the shortcuts on a map. And you can also have a little intro window kind of explaining what the map is. And if this is going up on like a website or something like that, I tend to fill this in and putting the logos of your institution here and the purpose of the project, that type of thing. But again, for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to skip that for now because I think you get the idea of what you can do there. We then hit next, and then this is where you allow you select what tools you want the user to be able to do. And I'm going to select I want a layer list. I want sharing so people can share it. I want people to be able to export it to PDF should they want. Search where they can type in an address to see like who's in their area. So I want that. And then do I want the search to open at the start? And that basically just means that that's open like that, which I kind of like because it makes it a little easier on the user to find the search should they want to use it. But you can basically select what you want here. And then this is actually the media map is the one that where you can actually create swipe maps in. And I don't have a second map to create a swipe map, a before and after kind of thing, but just know that that's available in the media instant app. I hit next again. And you select whether you want a dark or light interface. I always go with the dark one. And then you can also select preset themes if you want. So you can kind of look at which ones there are good for what you're doing. I'm going to select the rose one because it kind of matches the symbology. Now, notice where all your tools are. You might not like that so much. So you can reorganize things. Like I don't really like having export on the left because it doesn't seem to go there. It seems to be better over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to keep my legend there. And then you also can put things on the bottom right and left. So like if you want to put your zoom controls, one of those places you can do that. I tend to like those up here. And I'm going to put my layer list up as well because I like only using one or two spots. I don't like using all four because it gets confusing for the user. Hit next. This is a language switcher where you can, if you need things translated, you can do that. I'm just going to keep it as is for this. And then we're done. Look how easy that was to do. So I'm going to click publish and it's going to ask me if I'm sure, and I'm certainly sure. And it's going to do some thinking and publishing and such. And it's saying that the changes have been published. And now it's asking me or giving me some information here that's really important. This is where we change the share level. Right now, it's just shared with myself. So you would never be able to see this. If I gave you the link, you would get the sign-in screen and be blocked out there. So the first thing I'm always going to do is update my share settings to everyone. And now that I have that map shared with everyone, I can come back here to share and grab the link. And this is the link that you used, and this is the link that you submit when you're creating an instant app as this one. Don't ever click the one up here in the address bar because it will give the link for the app in configure mode. So when it would open like this with all this stuff, and that's not what we want. We want it to be just the map. And let me just paste the sucker in here so you can see what it looks like outside of configure mode. Oops, I must have accidentally enabled that anyway. So there we have it. Now, some interesting things here. First of all, this. This is the item details for the map. And notice that I didn't put any item details in there, so nothing's going to come up. So this is really important to fill out the item details so that people can click on that and learn everything there is to know about this particular map, why it was created, what the data means, blah, blah, blah. All of that should be there. So that's just something to make note of, because that's going to become important as we go and produce our Atlas Instant app for our capstone project. Each map should have a clear items details for every single map. So that's all there is to creating an app. Isn't that easy? You basically just go through those set of questions and you can create an app. Now let's go back a second here, and I'm going to uncheck all of these here to look at the whole list of apps that are available. And notice that you have a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to just tell you that the most popular ones that get used are the ones I use most frequently. Atlas, definitely. The Basic is the most common. Countdown, and I'll show you an example of that in another video. Exhibit is another one that's used frequently, and Portfolio. The Atlas and Portfolio are really great if you're showing multiple maps, and even Exhibit is as well. If you're showing one map, it's really the Basic is the best one. So that's a quick overview of the Instant apps, and you'll be making tons of these throughout the rest of the course.